Planning a wedding on my own was something I never anticipated. It wasn't a childhood dream, and honestly, I'm not the best at decorating or arranging flowers. I was unsure about the venue, theme, photographer, and even finding a DJ. Today, I'll share how we managed to plan a wedding within 90 days, all while my fiance was living in Japan. In this channel, I share our journey of overcoming the challenges of an international relationship. When we received approval for the K1 visa, we were thrilled, but it soon turned into anxiety as we started planning the wedding. If you've ever planned a wedding or been involved in one, you probably know that securing the right venue, DJ, photographer, and other essentials can be a daunting task. Our visa approval coincided with the beginning of wedding season, which posed an immediate challenge. Most people I know plan their weddings a year or more in advance. Unfortunately, the first two venues I had in mind were already booked. Luckily, I have a large family living nearby in Omaha, and my sister-in-law is an event planning wizard. She helped me to create a checklist and provided guidance on where to start. Other family members chipped in by hosting our wedding rehearsal dinner and helping with table centerpieces. There were countless details I hadn't considered until my sister-in-law or other family members brought them to my attention. Throughout this process, I learned that things can come together if you work towards them and truly want them to. A venue that wasn't initially my top choice turned out to be the perfect atmosphere for the wedding we envisioned. During the tour, I discovered that my workplace provided security for the venue, which resulted in a discount on the booking. While the venue required us to use their catering and bar service, we were able to offer an open bar and 2 dinner options for our guests, which increased our cost. I took my fiance on a video tour of the venue so she could get a sense of it, but it was hard for her to grasp the size and the vibe of the place. So ultimately, she left it up to me. Making such significant decisions on my own was overwhelming. Her expectations from Japan and my familiarity with American-style weddings differed greatly, which added more stress. Budgeting for the wedding only became a topic of discussion after we had already booked the venue and made some selections. In the United States, it's tradition for the bride's parents to cover most of the wedding-related expenses, which was my assumption. However, in Japan, it's the opposite, with the groom typically expected to bear the financial burden or share it with the bride. She is from a very small family, so a wedding reception with 300 plus people was something she never envisioned. This discrepancy led to a valuable lesson about communication and budgeting as a couple. Discussing a budget up front could have helped us stay organized through the planning process. We learned to always communicate before big purchases or before having a big expense, even amid chaos. Planning the ceremony was another challenge. Although the reception venue offered the option, it wasn't what I had envisioned. My sister-in-law suggested city parks that allowed wedding ceremonies for a nominal fee, and I scouted various parks throughout town, sharing photos and videos with my fiance. We settled on a park with a cozy grotto away from the hustle and bustle. Fortunately, it was available, so I reserved it and felt a momentary sense of relief. Next, I had to secure the DJ for the reception. I stumbled upon our DJ at work while I was discussing the wedding planning process with colleagues. One of my coworkers mentioned that our manager was also a DJ on the side. I promptly reached out to him to inquire about pricing and availability. Fortunately, he had an opening on our wedding day because he had another event back out. Also, since we had worked together for a couple years, he threw in a generous discount, relieving some of the financial strain. Another task I got checked off the list as time was running out. When I was considering a photographer, a mutual friend of ours from college, where my fiance and I met, happened to be an excellent option. We wanted him at our wedding, so I asked him for his pricing and availability, ultimately booking him and arranging his travel from Los Angeles. To have him there with us meant a lot to my fiance because she didn't have a lot of family and friends that were able to make it. She was already full of nerves on our wedding day, with a lot of people she didn't know in attendance, so it was comforting to have a familiar face behind the camera lens following us throughout the day. A week or so before the wedding, my sister-in-law asked about the officiant while cutting my hair, and I had a momentary panic. Finding an officiant for our wedding was a last-minute task that I overlooked. In hindsight, I would have asked one of our mutual friends to officiate. She provided recommendations, and through a client connection, we found a local judge willing to officiate for free. My fiance arrived in Nebraska with only a few weeks left before our ceremony. We toured the reception venue together, discussed additional decor, and decided to invest in lighting options offered by the venue. Last-minute trips to Hobby Lobby for table decorations and booking a photo booth completed our preparations. Despite my lack of organization, everything came together on our wedding day. I even recruited my cousins to pick up the chairs for our ceremony to save costs. As we waited at the park for their arrival, we checked the time anxiously. The officiating judge arrived and wondered if she was even in the right place because nothing was set up. My cousins eventually arrived, setting up the chairs just 30 minutes before the ceremony started. My friends, family, and I rushed to get everything set up in our wedding attire before more guests arrived. One of the most memorable moments on my wedding day is when I initiated a conversation with her father. She felt homesick in those first few weeks, but hesitated to contact her family, as it's customary in Japan for wives to focus on their new families. It was fascinating to learn that in Japan, the wife's name is actually removed from her family record and moved to her husband's family record when they marry. This tradition symbolizes the wife joining the husband's family and dates back to the 1800s. This cultural difference, combined with the physical and emotional distance from her family, created challenges for my wife. On the way to the reception, translating my words through her own tears, I expressed my desire for him to view our marriage as gaining a son rather than losing a daughter, aligning more with the American perspective on marriage. This vulnerable moment helped us bridge the gap with our family, and they quickly embraced this perspective. It was the first time we truly felt our marriage united not just two individuals, but two families. Our wedding day was a culmination of a 3-year long distance journey and just wanting to be together. Would we have loved more time to plan our wedding? Definitely. In a way, our wedding was just a necessity for us to be together in the same place. But having friends and family there with us made it a true celebration. Throughout our relationship, we've been fortunate to have a support system that encouraged and stood by us, even during the isolating times. We received valuable advice and assistance along the way, which strengthened our bond with both family and friends. Despite the challenges, this journey was not only about finding each other, but also knowing we have a strong support network. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more of our story, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.